Welcome to my new tutorial. Today we're gonna check out the project, the Ableton project of Jamaica. It is out on Big Toys Production. Jamaica was inspired through one of my favorite artists, Tinker, and it has this retro melodic progressive house feel with a really strong bass lines and these nice melodic touches inside. In February I was in Jamaica and it was amazing. It's so beautiful. The landscape, the people and the culture. And Jamaica is all about this feel of freedom, this feel of passion and youth. And I hope if you're listening to it, you get a little bit of this feeling. If you have any questions about production issues, I'm telling you now, then please head over to the comments, type in your question, I'm happily to answer it. So monotonic bass line and then the elements evolve like what is progressive music all about. And then it comes to the melodic part. And then vocals are coming. I think this bass intro is about here. And then the sub. I have there two stems. One stem with the sub bass. And then the top bass line, it's a Spire synth with a delay. Kick drum. On this I also used the effect. It's a cool sidechain plugin. It's called Track Spacer. And it's mainly used to incorporate vocals also into the mix down. And you can see it here. You can have a sidechain input, and I use here the sidechain input, the kick drum. And then it's adjusted to taste so that the bass gets more sidechain and makes more space for the kick. And that's it's all about. Here I can adjust the high cut and here I can adjust the low cut. So I say it's important that the kick drum strikes from the low end to about 3600 Hertz, and then you can adjust the ratio how much it impacts the space into the bass. So there is no effect now if I do it now here. And there's maximum space. If you look at the kick has an initial hit at around this frequency area and also here. But you have to understand that this initial hit at 3000 Hertz begins in this part here. So this comes first, and I don't really want to that this initial hit affects my bass, but because the bass, the main frequency is around 80 to 500, 80 to 205. It's in this area, so I want that this area gets more space and not this initial hit. So I will adjust the track spacer to like 300 or so and adjust it to this. Don't overdo it. Next up is the percussion. For the percussion, I used a lot of samples, and I cut the samples to taste and incorporate it into the mix. Normally, I use a drum machine like battery, but here I only used samples because I just wanted to one time to have a lot of sample stacks, like 8 to 10 layers. And then cut the best pieces out and adjust it. In this track, an important element is the juice behind the main element, so the background that makes the whole track interesting and alive. This is an example of a background juice. It makes it really interesting. If I now would turn it off, it would not be that interesting. Now I turn it on and you can see or hear that it is more alive. You know, it has tension. You can barely hear it, but there's something coming up. Also important is to incorporate a lot of fillers. So, I mean, questions and answers, like this. This was the answer. This is the question. That makes it not so monotone, the track. You have a lot of different elements. It's interesting for the hearer, for the listener. Look. Without it, it wouldn't sound that interesting. Because you have your listening always on this bass line. And with these choose elements, I incorporate something that distracts the listenings to other elements. And then that makes it alive. There comes this, there comes that. So this is very important because you get really bored easily. I mean, the bass line is nothing special. And it also doesn't evolve in its sound. So it becomes boring if you're listening to it. That's why I introduce a lot of elements to have the tension of the listener so that he doesn't stop listening, moves on to the next track. This plugin adds rhythmical stuff together with the, I think, bassline rhythm. That's nice. So the next one, vocals. Okay, honestly, I mean, do you like it? I don't know, but it had it kind of this weird feeling before the drop, so I like it. I agree with you if you don't like it, but that's taste. This is also distorted vocals, which adds a lot of rhythmical and feeling stuff. That's also question and answer. Question, answer. Question, answer. the vocals are from a sample bag, and I picked the best pieces out of it and processed it, compressed it. I put a DS on it, some saturation, compression, reverb, and delay. And then I also reversed some parts. This is very cool to introduce the vocal. And honestly, it was a lot of work. So there is no rule. There's just try and error. Pick the best pieces and try what sounds good. You need to do a lot of volume shaping, like in the beginning here. Introduce it so that no click is coming out of the sound. Oh yes, and very important about vocals. Most of the vocals are too less in volume, so you can barely hear it because all the instruments in the track mask the vocals. And if you listen to a pop song, the vocal really pops out, and this is what the radio version is all about, to make the vocals a little bit louder, because if you're driving in the car, you want that you hear the vocals. You have a lot of background noises of the highway and of the engine, but the engine and all the highway mask all the instruments, like the percussions, like the bass, but the vocals, that's the melody, that's the important part that needs to be heard. That's very important. So you should pay attention to this. And also with the vocals here, I implement this track spacer I showed you before. So I used the vocal sound as a sidechain and took all synth elements here, So I grouped all the synth elements, packed it together. Then I pushed a track space onto this track, and then I used the vocal, like Vox full, okay, and then adjust it to taste also with the equalizer, with the high cut. So where is the main part of the vocal? Let's find this out. Hearts on fire. It's obviously here. So 400, 500 to 5500. So I go right into the track spacer plugin, say 500 or so, or 400, and move it to 5000, okay? And then the ratio I will adjust to taste. So let's make it right. So it's Vox full bass. So I need to take the Vox full bass as a sidechain input. That is this one. And then I can adjust it to taste. You hear all the things are now gone, almost. You can really hear the voice. This is bypassed, so there is no side chaining. Can you hear it? So the synth elements fight with the vocal elements here. So I will now adjust the ratio to give the vocals more room in the track. I think that's enough. Honestly, I do like 35 or 40%, never more than 50. Look, it should be very subtle. The listeners should not recognize that there's such a thing going on, in my opinion. The listeners should always have a clean sound. So, a lot of processing, compression, saturation, EQ, another compressor for the color, a little bit depth with reverb, delay, and sidechaining. Look, this is also what sounds best if you have the sidechain before and after the delay and reverb. It depends. So I think that's it. If you have any question, please feel free to ask me, write me a message on Facebook, on Instagram, on SoundCloud, or on YouTube on the comment section. I would be happy to answer it. If you have any tips or wishes for the next video, just also drop me a message, please. I will do some videos again. And I hope you like it. Just give me thumbs up. Like me please on Facebook. Like me please on Spotify. And then you have all the information what is going on in Axxound land. So have a nice day. Stay safe. And please keep healthy yourself. Cheers.